Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Now, in the last video, you watched me cutting up a bit of various bits of timber with the old chainsaw, and it's only the Sunday, and I got the urge to play, you see, and I can't help it. So I've mounted on the Evolution chuck a bit of that burr brown oak, and I'm very excited. I just can't wait to turn it. It is absolutely blooming gorgeous. It really is. Now there's lots of voids. There's lots of natural edging, but there's also a lot of rot in it. You can see the big bit of rot there, look. So I really don't know how this is gonna go, and I really don't know if I'm gonna be able to glue chuck it to reverse it after I've turned the base. So stick around, because we're going to have a go at this shortly. But before we do, I think we ought to take a minute about eye safety. Now, in my videos, you'll see I'm always wearing these glasses. They're safety, they're prescription safety glasses, so I've always got them on. I can't see a lot without them. So that's first and paramount, really, just to have some sort of glasses, whether it's normal safety glasses or prescription ones like these. With the side panels on, look, you've got to look after your eyes. You really, really have. And on this piece, because there's so much rot in it and so many voids and such a lot of natural edging, I love it, right? I will be today wearing one of these bionic face masks. Now, I have no idea why they call them bionic, because they can't lift my car up if I wanted to change a tyre. I have no idea what's going on, but it'll help protect my face should something come off while I'm turning it. So think about safety before you start turning, or chainsaw carving or anything like that, and always wear the appropriate safety gear for the job you're doing. Right, that said, let's go on and have some fun, eh? For happy days. Now I've just stopped turning for a minute just to show you how I'm getting on. I'm shaping the back, or what will be the back of the bowl, and this is why I'm wearing this. Now nothing's hit me as yet, but pieces as big as that, look, and other bits and pieces are already flying off it. And I'm not that thin yet, I'm about an inch thick on the rim. So I'm about an inch thick up here. I need to get that down smaller. But already this rot is coming out, despite me going over it before I started turning, just picking out what I could find that was loose. So it's another point I'm trying to make is eye safety and your safety is paramount. So please, just be sensible and put some protection on. Back to it now, right? I loved it. I love it. I stopped the lathe because I could hear something clicking and banging. So, and what I've found is a loose lump of bark. So I'm going to try and have that out before I carry on, just in case. There you go. Just in case that was to fly out and hit me in the head. So I've been safe, stopping that out. There's a huge hole there now. This bowl area, really, I don't want to have any of these big inclusions, so I'm going to keep going to reduce the size of the bowl area so that the rim has all of these big voids rather than them being in the bowl. So it's going to be quite a small bowl area compared to a really wide rim. Hopefully that show off the wood to its best qualities. But look at that natural edge around there, look. Isn't that beautiful? Wow. Right, back at it. Okay, so during the turning process, I've actually changed my mind. I'm not going to reduce that anymore. That's about as wide as I want the rim to be, I think. I think if I go much further, it's going to be a bit too wide. So, some of these inclusions are going to be included in the bowl area. So now, with the bottom of the rim quite nearly to where I want it, I've got to work on creating a flat base and sorting this merging join out, rolling this off from the base down to the rim, the sides of the bowl area. So that's what I'm going to work on next. So I had to stop turning and have a look at the last video I took, that slow-mo one. Wow, I could really feel that tool bouncing around, and the chunks coming off of that's where the wood is going from good wood into just rot, and it's just ripping chunks out of the bowl. And wow, that was a good bit of video work, wasn't it? Hey, I enjoyed that. Right, anyway, sorry. I love turning. I love the challenge of turning something half rotten. So let's get back to it. Stop waffling, Darren. Right, here we go. Okay, so we're at that stage where the base is pretty much finished, really. I've power sanded the actual footprint, and now I'm going to try and put some pencil marks on there for the glue chuck. Now, as you can see, it's full of holes. It's full of holes, full of pits, full of cracks, and full of rot. So, I'm going to definitely lose the end of the pencil at some point. I may have to sharpen it several times, but we're going to have to be careful when we glue chuck this. We're going to have a really sharp tool, taking shallow cuts at a fairly decent speed so that the tool skips over all those crevices and rot and just cuts it nice. Now, let's hope it works, because something like this to me is so organic. It really is beautiful, and I don't want any evidence of mechanism or how I held it. I could use some big reversing plates and turn a foot on there and then put it on the reversing plates and turn that foot off afterwards. And that would probably be the very sensible way to do this. But the thing is, when I started turning, I couldn't afford 4-jaw chucks. You know, I expect when I started turning, the super precision chuck at Axminster was probably about 160 quid, 140, 160 quid, something like that. I couldn't afford that. So I had to learn how to turn bowls on double-sided carpet tape. And that taught me really quickly that I had to have a sharp tool and a gentle touch. And as time progressed, I moved on to hot melt glue, and that to me, that's really big step. It really holds, the way I do it, really holds the piece on the lathe, so much so that I would prefer to always use the glue rather than turning a recess or foot on the bottom of the piece and then having to remount it to turn that off. So I'm going to go with the way I know, and don't do this at home, is what I've got to say. Let's get playing. Okay guys, just for your information, that scrap piece of wood I'm using as the glue chuck, that is about 5 inches diameter, and it's a bit of old ash. Now, that's the same glue chuck I used for Bobby's platter and all of the recent burr oak platters that I've turned, and I just keep reusing it. I take the, if there's any excess glue on it after I've taken it off the platter, then I just stick it on the lathe and just turn that excess glue off, just clean it, give it a nice shallow sharp cut so that it's ready to go again for the next one. And I'll just keep using it like that, and I'll do multiple platters and bowls with that glue chuck before it gets so small that I can't use it on the next big one, and then I'll get a fresh piece of wood for the next big one, and then again keep working it down. Obviously, when I get to those little bowl blanks that I cut with a chainsaw the other day that are only about, I don't know what they were, about 11-inch diameter, I'll have to use a different faceplate with a smaller scrap piece of wood on there to save this one for the next medium size or big platter. So you're not wasting it, you're reusing it lots of times. And as you can see, that glue on there, only a few seconds put on there, and it's already going opaque, it's already starting to set, so it won't be long before we get that mounted back on the lathe and get turning the front of it. Let the fun begin. Now then, I'm just waiting for that glue to fully set. I thought I'd stick a kettle on. Don't tell the missus, will you? I stopped in the Tesco's to get some milk. And look what I found. Oh, look at that. What's that? Can you read it? Oh, look at this. Look at this, guys. It's a cup of coffee time in the workshop. Naughty, naughty, naughty. But shh, don't tell the missus. Okay, so I've reversed the chuck. I've got it mounted on the glue chuck now so that it's the face or the top of the bowl that you can see. I feel revitalised from my cup of coffee with that beautiful milk from Mr. Tesco. Thank you very much for that. And it's time we start turning the face of the piece. So I need to turn the speed up a little bit. Now remember, we got to have a real sharp tool, real shallow cuts, and just take it easy. We are at speed, we are up to about, we're on the low range of the lathe and we're about 170 rotations at the moment. Let's see how that goes. Face mask on. So I've gone across and sanded it, 120 grit, power sanding, and because of all this rot and rough edging, what I'm going to do is I've got a brass brush, wire brush on my drill, and I'm choosing the brass one because it's softer than the steel ones. There's a lot of movement in some of this, and I'm a bit worried that we're going to get it falling in half with that crack. So I'm going to do this quite gently. I'm going to get as much as I can with this brush, and then I think what I'm going to do is get it off the lathe, leaving it on the glue chuck, and I'm just going to put some CA glue along the more serious cracks just to help it hold together, and then when that goes off, I'll give it another sand, get rid of the excess. So here we go. Look at that, straight away, piece is broken, look, straight away. So I've got to be really, really careful in this. I don't want to lose any more. So this is the CA glue I'm using. Hopefully you focus on that. I buy mine off of eBay, but you can buy it from Amazon or anywhere like that. And like I said, I am just going to work it into some of these cracks, just to try and get some of these joints to be a bit firmer. Any excess I should be able to sand off. So I'm not too worried about that. Obviously I don't want gallons on there, but it just might give it a bit more strength, which I'm hoping. Just in the main cracks there. Right, so this CA glue is really fast setting stuff. It's I think it goes off in about 5 seconds or something like that. But whilst it's gone hard in about 5 seconds and set, I'm a great believer in letting things just sit and think about it for a while and really firm up. You know, all glues need time, no matter what technology says and what it says on the bottle. So I'm going to leave that now. It's getting late in the day, so I'm going to leave it overnight. I know, the CA glue, it says on the bottle, sets in 10 seconds, sets in 5 seconds, or whatever it is it says on the bottle. But glue is glue, and maybe I'm a bit old-fashioned. I'm going to leave it overnight. And when I come back in the morning, I'll give it a good sand to get rid of the excess glue. Then I'll go down through the grits, give it an oil. I'll leave that overnight, let the oil harden, and between that oil hardening and this glue, hopefully that will give the piece a lot more strength for when I do remove it from the glue chuck. All right, so I'll speak to you all tomorrow. So I've power sanded now down to 240 grit, and I am blown away by this piece. It is absolutely stunning. I love it. But I still have a little bit of loose in places where I don't want it. In here, look, there's fibres and bits of loose debris that I want to get rid of, but I'm frightened of putting that brass wheel back into it in case I break some more. So what I'm going to do to get rid of those fibres is I'm going to scorch it. I'm going to try and catch all of the rotten areas, all of the cracks, all of the natural edging, and try and make those black or darker to create more of a feature of them. But we got to be really careful because obviously the rot is dry rot, so we don't want a fire. So, and I don't want to burn away the live edging or the character of the piece. So really got to take your time and burn this slowly so that we don't lose any of this gorgeous character. I mean, it's just simply stunning, really stunning piece of wood. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to scorch it and then I'll go over it again with 240 and see where we're at then. Just as a word of warning though, I've swept the floor. I got some water ready. The workshop's already got fire extinguishers. It's that health and safety thing again, isn't it? Got to be careful. When you're doing the centre, remember it's being held on by glue. You don't want too much of this there. You don't want to melt that glue. Look at that. You know, it doesn't matter what skills or crafts you're into. You know, when you make something that you really like, God, dear me. Dear me. I absolutely love this piece. Right, let's get some oil on it. Let's get some oil on it and see what it actually looks like when it's singing. Come on. What do you say about that then, eh? That's nice. I am pleased with that. Tricky, very tricky with all that rot in it, but wow. What a piece of wood. Thanks for watching, guys. That's it for now. See you in the next one. Take care.